Modernity is a story of institutions becoming more and more distant from the people that they're supposed to serve, and becoming more and more opaque, so that you get this kind of Kafkaesque vision of the bureaucracy, which is constantly deflecting you when you're trying to understand what's going on and how your life is being impinged upon by the actions of institutions, in particular the state. But not just the state. Increasingly now, it's business and corporations which are opaque. So the response then is not to make them less opaque, but rather to hire these people who will speak to us from those places. So we get PR people for corporations, we get spokespeople for governments, and they're our single conduit from the institution and to our own lives. Can we trust what they tell us? Of course we can, because we have no way of verifying it. There's no independent means of matching that against reality. That is the reality we get. That's all we get. So this idea that the spin doctor, right, the salesperson, it's not just about consumer culture. I mean, we're being sold things 24 hours a day in terms of products, but we know that. We're also being sold ideas. We're being sold our lives in various ways by these people who speak from institutions to us.
When you do have a legitimate product or a service, or you want to represent yourself, really what's required is, okay, then expose yourself. Tell people who you are and what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Mondex has met with us, CIBC and Royal Bank, and in that respect they've been talking to us and trying to get us to understand it and support it. But I think generally for students, it's an advertising campaign around the university and around wealth in general.
I think we're seeing the confusion of the role of governance and the role of commerce. And in the world of commerce, you're dealing with consumers. In the world of governance, you're dealing with citizens.
I don't even really like using Interact, just because I don't like banks. I find that they scam a lot and they take a lot of money that's unnecessary.
This method of changing things when people don't really want change is taught in business schools as a method for taking over corporations. You take the corporation, you move in, and you change everything in 24 hours. You don't do it the first 24 hours necessarily. You wait till you've got everything ready, and then you go boom, you just change everything. And the disorder is so great that you're the one who knows where you're going and what you're doing, and so you get what you want.
It also allows me to track the last 10 transactions where I've spent money, because that information is stored on the card. It's not stored anyplace else.
And if you sign up for the program, you get most of the stuff for free. And so they've got to make their money somewhere. I think it's going to be about selling the information, because if they can actually break down to how much I actually spend on entertainment, that becomes that much more valuable to somebody else.
If you read a recent issue of Marketing News, for example, you'll see that merchants like smart cards. Why? Because they act as tracking devices. It's precisely because of the tracking device aspect, that is, that the marketer can follow the trail, the footprints that you leave every time you make a purchase or a phone call or whatever it is. The fact that they can follow it is very attractive, because it means they can build up a personal profile on you, the customer.
Names and addresses have huge, huge market value these days. People often say, it's only my name and address. What's the big deal? Your name and address fuels a multi-billion-dollar direct marketing industry. It's the raw material for a $75 billion industry in the United States and $11 billion a year business in Canada. So names and addresses and personal information have great market value.
Certainly databases are not autonomous. Every time data is collected on a big system, that system costs an awful lot of money to put into place. It's technically very, very sophisticated and very expensive, and it has very specific purposes, whether it's set up for to try to track welfare fraud or to track consumer profiles.
All of this technology has made the collection manipulation and trafficking in personal information much easier and much more profitable and therefore much more attractive to business. The individual who provides this information, that's you and me and all the millions of us, have almost nothing to say about what happened to us thereafter.